everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
And I'm Jai. Hi.
What's up? Hey, this is really exciting because I feel like I haven't done an episode with you in forever.
I know. I missed it. It's so
I know.
weird.
Finally, we're actually talking about Gia, the film from 1998 starring Angelina Jolie as Gia Carangi, the first American supermodel, I would probably say. I think they say it's a few other people. Janice Dickinson.
Janice
Another one.
Dickinson came out around the same time as Gia, but then definitely after Gia died, she only happened to be like big because Gia died, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say because they had the same kind of vibe.
They came out around the same time.
Yeah. Like the very late 70s, early 80s vibe. But we will get into the film. But I know Jai's been crazy busy running around doing projects and stuff. But what have you been up to otherwise? I know you're excited you have one finished, so you're like really excited about that.
Excited about what?
That you had one of your projects is done now.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty obviously hectic, as you know. And I genuinely feel like it's work, eat, sleep, and repeat, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing I've had like time to do, and that's only because it's once a week, was watching The Vow.
Fuck, man. Did you watch the recent one?
Yep, I watched it last night.
Dude. Okay, if anyone isn't watching it, or if you're watching this or listening to this way months in advance, then it's probably all out. Go watch The Vow on HBO. It's really good.
Yeah, we're not gonna like spoil.
We won't spoil it. If you haven't heard of it now, there's only 3 episodes out, so you have time to like kind of semi binge it. It's great. It's another film. It's another like docuseries about cults, pretty much.
I like the fact that we can't binge that because I have no self-control, so I will be like staying up really later than usual watching it all. So it's kind of nice to have just one episode a week, you know?
It is kind of rare because most things I watch no, that's not true. Not everything I watch is online. There's some shows that I do wait weekly for, but not very many. Only a handful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool that we get this time to kind of think about it. It's really crazy. I just am finishing a Lifetime film that they did, like a drama version of this, but it's actually about what the next episode's going to be about. There's like a famous woman who was on some soap in the 80s. Her daughter's in it.
Oh.
And they're trying to get her out. Well, that's what this Lifetime film's about.
Okay.
But I think the next episode of the docuseries is like her actual story. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean,
you're watching The Vow. You're like knee deep in Nexium. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've done. But I mean, I feel, as I said, it's been like a night. Like last night, I was tired, but I'm like, I got to watch this. I got to do something that is not like work or eating or like
an hour.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. And I had no idea. Like, I didn't know how big it was. You know.
Yeah, so. Well, no, I didn't know either. It definitely wasn't something that was like talked about. Like it wasn't a thing that I knew about that I just thought was weird. Like I'd never heard of it.
Yeah. So before we forget, like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, see, Jai's on it. Like and subscribe. 5 stars, please. I know we're probably like number 555 on the charts, but see if we can get to like 500. Like just like a little bit more, but it's cool. More people are listening. You guys got some time to hopefully go through the archives. Some people actually left some comments saying like, oh, I hope you do singles. I hope you do. I forgot what one of the other ones was. Another one was like, I think someone said Mallrats. We're going to do Mallrats. But I was like, oh, we still have so many more. There's just like
so many.
Yeah, I was like, I have a huge list already. So.
Like even just rewatching this, I was thinking like, oh my god, we got to do Girl Interrupted next, but obviously.
Oh yeah, that's on the list. Yeah, it's totally on the list. But yeah, I like that movie a lot. But this one is actually really cool because I feel like all of the ones that we've done so far haven't really been completely of the like fashion and music.
Yeah.
Now we're getting like into both of our wheelhouses, which is cool because I'm a photographer and Jai's a stylist. So it's kind of cool like seeing this, not cool as in the story because it's really sad, but it's more of familiar story.
Totally.
I guess you can I can relate to at least parts of it.
And we've seen, you and I, a lot of things that still happen.
Yes, totally still happens. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really crazy. But aside from watching The Vow, which I have been watching, I started watching Class Action Park.
What's that?
That's another good one that you might like. It's a good palate cleanser. It's a documentary on HBO that just came up, and it's about this super ratchet like water park in New Jersey in like the late 70s to like I don't even know when they got shut down, probably the early 2000s. I'm not sure, but the whole thing was like made like really shoddily. Like the rides were like just pieces of shit, and like these 15-year-olds were running it, and this guy was getting them to like try these rides, and like some people would like end up like breaking legs and like having all these crazy things, and it was just like literally like a death trap. Like people were always like permanently injured. Like it was crazy, and shit just kept going. And it was like this pyramid, like not pyramid scheme really, because it was like this guy just like opened this park and just kind of like let people do whatever the fuck they want. For a while, it was a free for all.
But how did he get away with it? How did he come? They didn't like shut it down.
Well,
Like,
I mean, I haven't gotten to that part in the story yet, but they do. I mean, it's not around now, so like that's but it's really funny because it's told very much like in the Tiger King style, where like former employees are talking about how crazy shit was.
Yeah,
but it's not as like methy as Tiger King. it's like not that like weird and like what the fuck is this? It's more like whoa, these are like normal-ish people, like, and they literally were teenagers just working a summer job and like running this really crap like water park. Yeah, it's really crazy.
That sounds like recipe for disaster.
It totally is, but it's pretty interesting that I've seen so far. And then another one called Love Fraud, which is on Showtime, which is great, where they're like hunting this guy who's like an identity theft and like stealing these women's money. It's nuts.
Oh yeah, you told me about
that. Yeah, that one's pretty nuts. So that one's also weekly, so they just have like 2 episodes. So I saw that one. But yeah, it's pretty. And then, you know, of course, my Love Island is on TV. Where are my Love Island people? On Twitter, I tweet about Love Island with this podcast that I listen to. But yeah, Love Island is back on the air, so that's kind of exciting.
Excellent.
Jai hates it and she will never get into it. That's cool. Totally cool. Let's go on to Gia. So Gia is directed by Michael Christopher. I want to say that's how you say his last name. What are your first thoughts on it? When did you first see this?
It was 99 or 2000, and it was on TV, like obviously like cable, you know, like HBO, I suppose. Even though I don't really remember it was HBO. But yeah, it's weird because when I knew what it was about, I was like really excited because I happened to know who the real Gia was, like way before I watched this. Like, let me think. Like, well, I mean, not way, but like 97 or sorry.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, because actually my friend had some really cool, like old, like vintage magazines.
Oh,
and so she had all these Vogue from the 70s and 80s and 90s. She only had like those 3 decades basically. And I saw this girl and I thought it was, I thought she looked like Cindy Crawford, but
yeah,
I was like, no, she's like a lot like smaller frame sort of thing. And then I was like, oh, it's so cool because I assumed that everyone around that time, all the models were kind of blonde and like just looked the same, you know. I didn't think until Cindy came along, obviously, but I didn't know that there was a supermodel in the late 70s called Gia. And so anyway, I did like some research on her and I kind of knew like she had a tragic life. But then, then I watched the film and I was like, oh my God, you know, like.
Yeah, I did not know her. So.
Well, I think because we studied fashion. And so my friend was really into, you know, she used to collect all these vintage magazines and stuff. But yeah, when I watched the film, I was literally like, wow, Angelina is just so beautiful. And she's like sex on legs, basically.
I just realized throughout this rewatch that like Angelina Jolie is definitely one of my top 5 favorite actresses.
You told me, you told me.
I love her. I don't like talk about her or think about her all that much, but I love her.
I think it's because she hasn't done anything recently, but she was pretty active for a very long time, and like I think right now it's easy to forget, you know. Like,
totally, yeah. Well, she's had such a like high profile personal life.
Exactly.
That's like outweighed her acting for like the last 10 years, probably.
Yeah. But what do you think?
Okay, I first saw this film when I was probably like 22 or 23. Like I
Hmm.
definitely didn't see it. I saw it like what, like oh 03, no, oh 05, oh 06 maybe. Yeah, I was living in New York, so this film, it was on TV, and so this film for some weird reason like transports me back to living in New York, like
Hmm.
as an early like 20s woman, I guess. Like, and it was such an amazing time, and I'm so glad that I spent my early 20s there and like went to school and then moved after and stuff. So seeing this film just makes me super nostalgic, like when she ends up moving to New York and stuff. I'm just like, oh god, and like just the fire escapes, just like it reminds me of like all these people and like apartments and like places that I would go and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I saw it kind of late. I definitely saw it like almost 10 years after it came out. I didn't know Gia because I didn't study fashion at all until I didn't never studied it, but I mean, I never got interested in it until I moved to New York, really. Because,
Yeah, because you were doing fashion photography there.
uh, yes, but no. I just studied photography. I actually didn't do any fashion until I moved to the West Coast.
Oh, I didn't know.
Not really. I mean, I think I'd done some shoots of people. Like I did some shoots in university, like some portrait shoots for assignments, and people always said that it looked very fashion, like the way that my portraits looked, but I never wanted to shoot fashion. Like that wasn't my goal in school. I
Oh,
was just like,
wow.
I'm studying fine art and I'm studying photography. Like that was my specialization. So I did a lot of like landscapes and like, just like random stuff, but I never was like, I want to do fashion. There were people in my class who were trying to do fashion. And then when I interned for a food photographer. Like I didn't intern for a fashion photographer.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
when do you transition? Like when do you make the change of?
I made the change when I graduated school and I moved into the city. And I used to live in Long Beach, if anyone knows that, in Long Island. Woo, woo, Long Beach. It's fucking so cool. It's like a surf town in Long Island. We have to go. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
definitely.
So we should totally do a shoot there because it's very like beachy and like cottagey. It's very cool. So yeah, so once I moved into the city, I got an internship at and not a fashion magazine, but it's this magazine called Big Magazine that's based in Chile, but they had an office in New York. And I ended up just being like the kind of like art intern slash photo editor intern, like everything intern.
Yeah,
So
like back in those days.
yeah, like so I worked under the creative director, but like Victoria Bartlett was our fashion director, so she would come in and she was doing VPL at the time,
Oh,
which was
cool.
really cool. And then like we were on like this big floor in New York and right next in like those old buildings and right next to us was a photo agency. So like I would talk to them and I could see how they were interacting with photographers who would come in while I'm like trying to book shoots. My boss was shooting this like amazing Hemingway inspired shoot with in
Oh,
Spain with all
cool.
of his like he was from the Canary Islands as well, but he was like had like a super crush on him. He's probably listening. Dear God. But like he was like doing a whole like I remember booking this whole trip for him and all of his friends and they were like the next issue is called Big Hemingway, so we wanted to do a shoot that's like inspired by like Hemingway's life in Spain and like his like like kind of socializing and all that kind of stuff. So it was like him and I had to book all of his friends, this like
Oh,
amazing trip. He had another one in Nova Scotia and this big like photography trip and I was like see all of the film when it would come back and I was like, oh,
oh, wow.
so fun. But
So
I
cool.
assisted on some shoots when I worked in a photo studio and I would assist the fashion photographer and essentially the stylist, like anyone who needed help. But I've never worked for just a fashion photographer.
Oh,
Yeah, it's always been like
interesting.
photo agency, magazine. Like I've always been on like the other side of it. And then like obviously food, but different stuff. But this just really reminds me of that time. This feels very, I mean, it was shot in 98, but it feels very like, I just love the way it's shot too. I love the way it's so gritty.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Yeah, it's totally like your style, basically.
Yeah, I totally. And then like when you first see Gia, I was like, I love how in the film they like are kind of like, you look like a trucker and like dress like a girl like a biker girl or like a biker chick or something. I was like, she looks so dope. Like she just looks so cool now.
I
Even
know.
like 30 years later. Like
I
you're saying she
know.
looks bad, but every girl should be trying to look like this. Like literally. It's kind of funny. But yeah.
I kind of don't like. I have to say that I don't really like the intro. Like, I don't like the whole interviewing, like people who knew her. It feels very fake.
Yeah,
It
at first
feels
I didn't know. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, wait, are these real people? Or is this a
because they wanted to do it as
documentary?
like a documentary style, but it's so like early 90s, like weird
Like
kind of.
Truth or Dare, like the Madonna
I just
video.
I don't like it. I feel like it's yeah, that's the only thing that I didn't like about the film. Like, like it just looked really over the top, like kind of fake. I don't know. I think they
Yeah, I
could have
think they
done
were trying
better
to.
there.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make it a certain way. I just noted it as like at first I was like, are these real? Is this a documentary? Like question mark. And then because it's weird because when they first start out, there's a statement
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Gia, so I'm like, oh, this
Mhm.
is a documentary. Like this is about to be a documentary because it's like these are her words, her journals, people that knew her, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm strapping in for a documentary, and then it like is not. But
Yeah,
then it's still like that throughout the film though, because you still are like talking with the mom, like she interjects to go, backwards and everything like that. So it's still kind of told like you think it's a documentary.
yeah. Which I kind of get the idea. I just didn't. I think it was like poorly executed, but that's just my take on it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a good note. I have another note. I watching this totally reminds me of Edie Sedgwick. Like
Yeah, very
so
similar. Very
parallel,
similar.
like
Yeah.
kind
Mhm.
of muse it girl in this certain circle. It kind of seems like she just had like no one really looking out for her. At least
Yeah.
that's what it seems like on the outside. I mean, I've obviously no idea, but it just had a really similar to Edie Sedgwick's story. And now
Yeah.
Factory Girl, which I love as a
I
film,
love that film
that I
too.
heard is like nothing like what happened. I mean, that one I don't think is like. I mean, they dramatize things though. I mean, they
They
have
do.
to
Yeah,
in
yeah.
movies, kind of. But that one I heard is like there's certain things are not true, or the way they paint Andy Warhol, like there's all these different sides to that one too. So
Yeah, I think that was very Hollywood though, like very like you know what I mean?
yeah, totally. Guy Pearce,
I mean
Mary Kate Olsen.
he was great as Andy Warhol, I thought. But
Yeah, and Sienna Miller,
yeah, yeah,
and
she was great. Yeah.
also kind of them like implying that it's Bob Dylan, but never saying it means that he didn't agree with that.
I think so too.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because they would have said Bob, and they never do. Like it's obvious it's Bob Dylan, but they never say his name.
He is so cool though.
Oh,
Like the
Hayden
very obviously
Christensen or Bob
no,
Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Oh.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah, Hayden Christensen's pretty
You
cool.
would totally marry him, right?
Who? Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
I don't think I would hesitate. Yeah. He seems pretty fucking cool. I mean, not just pretty fucking cool. He's like a genius. Like
He
he's an
is.
iconoclast. He's gonna live
No, I
forever.
know. He's like
Like,
on another level, like yeah.
yeah, he's like living amongst us. He's like God help us, Mick Jagger. Like I'm not a
I
big Stones
know.
fan, but like, come on, he's legendary. The whole
He
band is.
is. No, I know.
And Paul McCartney. Like I mean, they're
Mhm.
just living among us, but they've like had these crazy lives.
I
You think,
know. I just want to like meet up with them for tea and just like hear the stories, you know?
I know. They should do some kind of like giant like they should have a show. I mean this may be like horrible that this is going out on the internet, but they should have a show where like I mean honestly it kind of sounds sad. The rock stars of the ages that are left with us because there are a lot that aren't. They should all sit around and like talk about these crazy stories from the beginning. They
I
should all just
know.
have this like round table where they all just sit around and like they do it with actors on YouTube. They
They
should have like
do.
Dave Grohl and like fucking Slash and like
Well,
all these guys being like,
Lauren, maybe
yeah,
you just need to pitch this to like a big network, like a
I
TV
need to have
network.
some rock stars that are interested in taping like an intro episode. Ones that don't
Mhm.
hate each other. That would
That's
be
true.
that would be
Yeah.
the other plan, but that would be super cool. I also think they need to make a Guns N' Roses biopic like they did with Motley Crue.
I
Because
know.
like
I
fuck
don't know
Motley
what they
Crue.
haven't. I
Fuck
don't know
Motley
what they
Crue. Guns
haven't.
N' Roses is all still alive. They should all fucking just let them do it. I don't know why they wouldn't. I really don't. Like they're all here. They can all see it and oversee it, so they could be involved. I think it'd be really cool. But yeah, that's the only note I had that it was like Edie Sedgwick that I remembered. And then I wrote I love Angelina. Her and Brad are a Hollywood love story for the ages.
They
Um
are.
it's really sad what happened, but I was watching like I was super in my feelings the other day, and I was watching like Academy Award acceptance speeches. So I was
Yeah.
watching like Joaquin's this past year, and I was
Oh
watching like
yeah.
Leo's, and like Leo's was super emotional. I think I cried. And then I was watching like Brad Pitt, and then I was watching then this like interview came up, and it was like Brad and Angelina when she got um the surgery, and
Oh
like she
yeah.
just gotten it, and it was like this interview they did together on like Good Morning America.
I
Oh,
remember. I've seen that.
it
I've seen
was
that.
like he was just like the most amazing supportive, and I was like, what happened? And I was like, why are they not together? Like I just love both of them. They're such great actors, but
I know.
it's okay. It's all right. Oh, also Angelina won a SAG and a Golden Globe for her portrayal in this film. So
I know. Well deserved.
well deserved.
Yeah.
Right before she got the Oscar for Girl Interrupted.
I know. It's so insane. Like,
Yeah, it's really insane. Let's see. I don't have much behind the scenes notes. The only thing I have is that Linda, the character who plays Gia's, like I would assume girlfriend slash I don't know, ambiguous partner, lover, girlfriend. Um,
mhm.
her real name is Sandy Linter, so they just changed her name to Linda. So that's the only real behind the scenes note I have. I don't really have anything. I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I know. Don't really. I have just that is like there is an unrated extended version available where Linda and Gia's sex scenes are longer and more explicit. Apparently,
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah, apparently one scene where when Gia gives Linda hamburgers in the kitchen, Gia straddles Linda in a chair and says, "Dinner is served."
That's like the only extra. That's like oh, that's just the one they pointed out.
Yeah, that's the only thing I found. But apparently the sex scenes are like more intense.
It's weird. It's HBO, so that's already cable.
Yeah, so like apparently came out in 2004 and it was
Oh,
available in VHS format only in the US. Well, sorry, North America. Yeah, like
sounds weird. Like only on tape.
I
Like
know.
it's weird. Okay.
And I have the yeah, like what I was saying earlier actually, like Cindy Crawford was like called like Baby Gia when she first like hit the modeling scene because she kind of resembled her.
I can see that.
I
I'm
can
not
see
a
that.
giant Cindy Crawford fan, I have to say.
Same. I mean, I think
Or
she's.
her daughter. I mean, she's pretty, but I'm
I
not
know,
like,
Kaya.
oh, like she's beautiful. Like I mean,
I mean, they're definitely different. You know, they. I feel like Cindy Crawford was definitely different, like to
mhm.
what was around at the time. You know, she was the only brunette that was a kind of like big, really. I mean, she was part of the supermodels. Like, you know, it
Yeah,
was
the big ones, right?
five
Like
of them, right?
Claudia
Yeah,
Schiffer and like Linda Evangelista,
yeah.
her
They all
name.
kind of had their thing going, and you know what I really like about those days that they were all curvy. The
Oh yeah.
supermodels were like curvy. They weren't like now, you know.
When did they start getting thinner? Kate Moss?
Kate Moss,
It was
yeah,
Calvin
he
Klein,
was
right?
totally like
92, 93.
well, yes, but her and Chic was like much later, like 99, 2000, 2001, all of that. That was like when Alexander McQueen came out. He
Oh,
also
oh
kind of
yeah.
encouraged that look in a way, you know, like, but I mean, yeah, and it lasted for a very long time.
I mean, it's still happening.
I
I mean,
know.
not as much though. I mean, it is getting more well-rounded now, I have to say, but still, I mean, as the norm in fashion, I'm pretty sure it's about the same.
Yeah,
Like sample size is still a 2.
totally. Yeah,
So,
they
yeah,
are.
it
Yeah, but
hasn't more.
you can be a two, but like a healthy looking two.
Yeah, that's the
Like
thing. It all depends. Like the
it
number
totally
is
depends.
so like irrelevant. It's just
Yeah,
like and same with the measurements too. Like some people just have wider hips. It's just how they're built.
I
You know.
know, and they're like, oh, they have like great, you know. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, even like looking for models for a shoot next week, I was like, okay, this week actually, I was like, oh, I love this girl, but she just looks really unhealthy, you know, because
Yeah.
she's just too thin, and even like without makeup, she looks kind of sickly. I just feel like there is something really wrong about using a model who looks like that. Not because
Yeah,
she's
not because that's how they are, but you just don't want to promote it.
exactly. I don't want
Yeah.
to encourage that kind of look and image, you know,
Yeah,
but
totally. I mean, I think that's what the fashion industry is like moving towards. I think they're trying to like not have such a negative image, because this film really paints, this is like pre-social media. So like this really paints the image of like the fashion industry being very much like chew you up, spit you out, which it is, but now people have voices.
Yeah.
Now models can get on and say, hey, I was treated really badly at the shoot, and then maybe the other models who have been as well would join in. But here it was very much like, who's gonna believe you? Like throw them away, like get a new one, like get a new girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they didn't have. Yeah, things were different. Definitely were used, mistreated. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, it's really crazy. But let's see. So starting into the story, like we were saying earlier, it starts with a statement saying like Gia was born in 1960, and like it says, like she was born in Philadelphia. She had this like it kind of sets you up that she had this like very wild kind of like insane life, like in all fronts, and then it says like this is her story told through some of her friends and her journal. So she kept this journal, so we hear like just little bits of it throughout in voiceovers from Angelina Jolie, which I think is really cool that we
it
get to
is. I like
hear.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we get to hear her words. And then it opens up to that first runway look where she's got that like that amazing like strapless dress with that like winter snow in the background.
I know, so over the top,
And that
like
muff.
90s.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I know.
And then we flash back to her as a child, and it's Mila Kunis.
I know. I have to say, what a great option, like as in like choice, sorry. Like, because she really does look like her a little bit.
Yeah, she does. She's such a cute kid too.
I know. She's still a cute human right now.
Yeah, she's really cool. I really like her.
She's really pretty.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's super cool. Did you ever watch that '70s show?
Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh wow, I have seen maybe 2 episodes. I just know the premise, but I was not a watcher.
I
I thought you
watched
were
it
gonna say
all.
no. Oh, you saw them
No.
all?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. Is it something worth watching now, or do you think I would be like, eh?
I don't think it would be really boring to watch her now. I feel like
Yeah,
it's one of those things that doesn't. Yeah,
it
like
doesn't like hold up. If you didn't watch
mm-mm.
it then, it kind of doesn't
Yeah,
hold
no,
up
it's actually quite boring. I think I tried to watch an episode on the plane, and I was like, no.
now. Oh okay. Oh okay.
But at
That's
the time, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely was like really funny, and obviously launched careers of like a lot of people. So
Ashton, yeah,
yeah,
Ashton.
definitely Ashton and like Wilmer Valderrama and
I
that
also
girl
had a crush on him, so yeah.
Fez.
I
You had a
love
crush on Fez,
Ashton Kutcher.
or
Yeah, I just love him. He was like such a pretty boy.
I just remember him dating Lindsay Lohan for like a long time.
What?
Oh yeah, they dated for like a long time. That's all I
Oh
really remember.
God,
He dated like everyone. Like back in
really?
the day. Yeah, look him up. I think he dated like Mandy Moore, like like all those like kind of girls who were like really famous around then.
Yeah, all the
Like
famous girls basically.
the
Like,
party girls and stuff. Yeah, he was definitely like out and about. And I always saw like photos of him, and I was like, I think he's just trying to push the whole like I'm not Fez thing. Like I think he's trying to be like I'm not Fez. I'm really like this super ladies man who like dates famous girls and stuff. Demi Lovato dated him for a long time. That girl who has been like she's a singer, but she was like recently in the press and stuff. She's been having like some hard times. She's really cool.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, she's really she's like I think she's a Disney star, but anyway, he dated her for a long time. But we got on that '70s show. I don't know how. Oh, Mila Kunis, that's how we got on it.
Sorry.
Okay, so then we see her as a little girl, and we see her family growing up, and her parents are like fighting, super toxic. Her mom and dad are just like super not getting along. She's got 2 older brothers, I think. So we see them sporadically, but it's basically about her. And the mom leaves, which is crazy.
She's a terrible mother, sorry, but
Yeah, she kind of is. I have to say.
like, yeah, because she doesn't really keep in contact with her. She just abandoned her, And like, I really do think that's probably the main reason why Gia had so many issues.
Oh, it has to be.
She was missing like a mother, like
Yeah.
you feel like not loved, and also like she was really young, and then she's like suddenly becomes like this huge star, has access to so much so soon.
I can't even imagine.
I can't. I mean, I would have ended up in probably the same way. Like if at 17 I had like money, fame, and like
No
access.
one to look out for you at all, like,
Exactly.
people to use you every chance they get.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then I have the mom leaves, which is super traumatic, I think it's in general if any parent leaves, but it's just super traumatic. Then we get to like a cut to Gia being 17, working in her dad's restaurant slash diner with I think her other two brothers are working there too. And she looks so fucking cool and she has those spikes and the purple hair and the tank top and I guess like just jeans or whatever. She's like working there. That's probably one of my favorite
I
that's one of
know.
my favorite lines, like that whole interaction when she first meets this guy TJ.
Yep, that's in my favorite scenes.
Yeah, I
Wow.
love that. And then they're just like, "Oh, let's go walk the street." So they're like walking around and they're like, "Oh, let's get a tattoo. Let's do all this crazy shit." And I think they're like smoking weed. And then this couple's like staring at them, which is so this is why I don't like street casting because this is what I feel like I look like. These weirdos that we later find out is like a photographer and like I guess his girlfriend. Like this guy's looking at her like, "Oh, like but you think it's a weird way, but if you're a photographer, like like what he's looking at, and he's like, "Oh my god, this girl's amazing! Like I have to shoot her." So then we later see that they're like in the apartment, and they're like he's shooting her, and she's just so fucking cool, and this feels very Angelina to
It
me.
does. I was going to say that. It feels like she's playing herself a little bit because she's so like confident and like she's very like sexual and wild, We know that. I mean, that's a fact, Angelina Jolie is wild.
Yeah, or at
Really
least she
wild.
portrays that. I mean, if she's not, then that's definitely how she's been portrayed in the media. She's definitely been portrayed as like this renegade kind of like I do what I want, like attitude.
Yeah, no, but she's also a little crazy. Remember when I don't know whether it's true. I'm pretty sure it is, but that she like kissed her brother
Oh, yeah,
or
that was
like
at the Academy Awards. Yeah, there's video.
it's kind of weird.
Uh, it, there's definitely some weird things going on, and then her dad being John Voight, like that's weird
Well,
too.
that I mean, yeah.
Super weird. Like alone, that's just weird. Like he's a strange one, but yeah, but she's so like I think this is what makes the film so great is obviously it's Angelina Jolie. I mean, that's undeniable, but just the fact that like the way that Gia charms people
Yeah.
and it's almost like she's put a spell on you and it like and even her mom talks about it in the interview like she's like I don't think she ever really had sex with anyone. Like she had sex with everyone, but she didn't
Mm,
really like she never ever connected with anyone. Like physical like appeal or traits like just didn't mean what it means to the rest of us. It was
yeah.
very much like just this other kind of like entity of her, which is what I feel like Angelina projects too. Like she
Hmm.
projects very like people always try to like pigeonhole her like she dated a girl. She does all this weird shit and she's like you guys are all obsessed with this. Like this is who I am, this is my life. If you guys
Hmm.
want to obsess about the fact that like I date whoever, I marry whoever, I do whatever, that's cool, but I feel like she doesn't put as much emphasis on it as like we do
Yeah. Yeah.
as like a society as like a obviously people are like thirsty for anything like racy or sexual or like mysterious.
Yeah. I
At
think she
least
just
Americans are. I don't know that it's the same in
I,
other
I
places.
think she was brought up in a very liberal, like
Oh, yeah,
crazy,
Hollywood.
like I don't think because it's like when you meet a lot of European girls, they are kind of like not to this extreme, obviously, but it is definitely cultural. It's like
Yeah, I was gonna say.
you're like sex is not like a taboo, and like you can talk about it and be like just like whoever you want to be, like at home, and I feel like definitely culture. I feel like the way she was brought up was very much like you can do whatever you want. It's totally cool and like no judgment. And for her, it is really natural just to do the things she does.
Yeah, totally.
But
And it
yeah,
doesn't feel
Americans are very like, oh,
yeah, oh totally. Yeah, completely. And it's also like I feel like too Americans have this I mean, I'm American, so this is just my perspective, but I feel like we have this like person it's like there's very much like the behind closed doors and then the like what everyone expects you to be. And like
mm,
everyone expects you to be this like successful, educated, like well-rounded, you're good at sports, you're good at this, you like do school, like you're just like you're always striving like to be more. Like that's kind of like consumerism, like everything, materialism, everything. It's just like you need to be more, you need to be richer, you need to be skinnier, you need to be younger, you need to, it's like everything, it's everything you're
Yeah.
not. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like and it's just she didn't seem like she was Gia, I mean, like at least in the story, didn't seem like it seemed like that was just who she was, because obviously her home life was nothing like a liberal hands-off parent. I mean, she definitely had like a very constrained, it seemed like it was just really toxic, and then she was working, like she just seemed way older when she was working in that diner.
Yeah, she did. But also, she like grew up with just boys, and her mom wasn't around, so it totally makes sense that she was like a total tomboy. And like, I guess I mean, it doesn't always is the way, but if she had like all the brothers, she probably just played with them and stuff like that, like.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But yeah,
And it's really crazy. It's really crazy, like how, and also how fast everything happened. Like she
mm-hmm.
was discovered in like the late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think she died in 86, but I think she quit modeling in like 83 or 82, something like that.
Well, it's not exactly like she quit, but yeah, no
Oh
one will
well,
give her like
yeah, like
jobs.
yeah,
Yeah.
she like stopped modeling and then she got really sick. But oh yeah, anyway, so she's at the first shoot. So then she like charms the girl. It turns into this weird, like I think her friend is gay. I mean, the one that TJ, but she's got this like super weird relationship with him.
I know. I
Um
don't know. Yeah.
that was just kind of, I mean, I think it was more of like an emotional relationship, because then we see that like she takes these photos. I'm assuming like something, probably like some kind of group sex activity. I don't know. They didn't really show it, but that's kind of what they made it seem
You
like.
mean an orgy? Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they both just made out and then she left. I have no idea. But they just kind of like fade out. She gets the photos and then she like goes to the mom. The mom is left and remarried to this like pretty wealthy guy. And she goes to like the house and puts the photos like on the bed. I first thought she was gonna mail them out. Puts the photos on
Yeah.
the bed, and then I guess like to show her mom, like, look, I'm a model now. And then she sends them to, was it Wilhelmina?
Yep.
And then yeah, that's obviously how they met her and like how they see her. So then she moves to or no, she doesn't move. She goes to New York with TJ to like have this meeting with Wilhelmina. They're like, oh, we want to talk to you. I fucking love when she walks into the reception.
Me too. And it's full of Barbies. Yeah.
Totally Barbies. And then she's just like, hey, I want to see Wilhelmina. And the woman's like, yeah, so does everyone. And she's
Saw the whole world, honey. And she's like, I have an appointment. Yeah, I mean,
it's
that
classic.
is that's in my favorite lines and favorite scenes.
Where she literally goes like, what's your name? And then she's like, Gia Marie Carangi. And then she's like, what? And then she's like, G, and she grabs out her switchblade and like carves Gia.
And she's like, fuck the rest of the names. So you think you can remember that, honey?
Gia. It's just Gia. So great. If you work in fashion at all, you know who these people are and you want to do this to them all the fucking time. Like, this is just, it's great. It's so great.
I know. I love that the desk girl, like the receptionist, like looks down at you. I'm like, come on, like seriously, you know?
Right? And look at her. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm assuming they all didn't see it, but I would like fall off my chair if she walked in. I'd be like, oh my God, this girl's amazing. I'll have to shoot her. She's so cool. Wearing her like biker jacket. And I mean, the fashion notes that I have are just they're like so extensive. She has amazing fashion choices in this film.
She does.
So many changes.
She does. And also it's very, I mean, some of it is because she's modeling, right? So she has these outfits, like, but then like outside that, she has some looks that are very iconic, like the white shirt with the Levi's jeans, you know, like when she buys that car and stuff. It's like so 90s.
So cool. And like so 80s. So like 84 with the big teased hair. The costume design is Robert Torturis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said 90s. I meant 80s.
Oh yeah. Oh, he died in 2009. Oh, that's really sad.
I know.
Oh wow, he did a lot of crazy things. He did Batman and Robin, that movie with
No way. Oh
yeah, he
wow.
did that, yeah, and some other things too. But wow, that's really crazy. Let's see. So yeah, she goes and meets with Wilhelmina Cooper, played by Faye Dunaway. Pretty cool. And she's just like, look, this is not like you don't need to talk. Like it's cool that you look like a fucking biker chick and you look like you curse like a sailor, but you just need to be a model and you just need to not talk and you're gonna do so well. And she's just kind of like, what? And she's like, yeah, I needed to see you. I saw your photos. I saw that you're like this wild and crazy girl. So I'm gonna send you to interviews and you're just gotta like charm them. And she's like, fine. If I can make a lot of money, I'll fucking do it.
I know. And that's what I love about her, that she never cared about being a model. It was a total accident. She was obviously scout, like totally, approached, and she was like, okay, I need the money. Yeah, so I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Yeah, obviously. Those are the people that I've shot that have been the best are the ones who don't care.
Yeah, like Lena.
Yep. Like literally just like
I
it's just crazy.
know.
It's just crazy. The people who just are like very natural at it are usually the ones who are like the good ones.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. No, that is totally true.
That's totally how it is. Guys included. This goes on all scales. You know, like it's really crazy. It's really insane. You don't think that. You think that someone who like you think that modeling is something you can practice for, which it is, but a lot of it is literally who you are. It's like being an actor. It's like very few people can do it. And like
No, naturally, yeah.
yeah, naturally, yeah. It's just a thing. I don't know. I don't have it, but I try to spot it. So that's really what I try to do. And then they send her on castings, and then they show those like black and whites of like her just stepping into those like casting videos. I was like, she looks so amazing. I can't even handle how cool her hair is. And it's all like mullety, but like kind of like dirty mullety, like combed out, like all weird.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting because you really seem to like her hair, and I think they were terrible, like
Oh, I like
hairstyles. Like
early ones.
it looks kind of fake. It looks
Yeah,
kind of over the top. I don't think they did a good job with the wigs.
it's very teased.
It's just very like the kind of wig that I get in like Dalston Market, at a shop, and
Like a
or
bad
like
Halloween costume. Like a
yeah.
Party City.
Even who's got a really bad wig too? The photographer, the creepy photographer,
Oh yeah.
who says who wants to stay and make art,
I know, we paid our rent.
and then he's like, lose the clothes.
That's weird. That's so fucking weird. Okay, well, before that, she gets rejected at a lot of places, and she's like, whatever. Like, they come in, they tell you you're not right, get out, blah blah blah, and she's like, whatever. And then she's like writing in her journal the night before her first shoot, and she calls Wilhelmina, and she's like, I'm so nervous, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't sleep. And she's like, oh, just take half this sleeping pill. And
Oh yeah.
and then just like get some sleep and like you'll be okay. And she's like, okay. So she's like outside waiting to go into the shoe, and she's like sitting there looking like, I think she looks amazing, but apparently these two women who we later meet think she's homeless, and she's like sitting out there with her coffee cup, and she's just sitting on the ground, and they come and drop change in it, and I was like, oh god.
That is so funny. Oh my god.
And they like have these big furs on, like getting out of this limo, and then you just see her like go in. She's like, what? She goes into the place. She walks into this amazing studio space that I wrote. Love that studio space. I need it. All white room, like the whole massive floor. Like I love it.
So cool. That whole like studio is so
cool.
amazing.
If anyone has a space like that for like $150 a month, like I'm in. I would love a space like that. It doesn't even have to be anywhere cool. Like I just want a space like that. It's just super awesome. And then she goes in, and then they're like, oh, are you Gia? And then she like throws the change out of the coffee cup, and she's like, I want some coffee. And they're all like, oh my god, that's Gia, because I guess she's got this crazy reputation that she's just nuts. So she does this super lame like catalog looking shoot with these two other like basic ass models, and then that's when right when you said the photographer's like, hey, we made it, we paid our rent, let's make some art, let's lose the clothes. And they're like, fuck that.
I know.
The girls are like, fuck that, no. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. And then she takes those photos of her naked like behind the fence, and then I think she says like, "I'll do it if she stays." If
Yeah.
was it Linda? So
Yeah.
Linda's
If
the
Linda
makeup artist.
stays, yeah.
Yeah, so Linda's like, okay. And then it's so weird that the photographer's like, all right, you can stay, but you have to get in there and you have to lose the clothes. And
I
she does.
know.
Like,
I
why?
know.
I'd be like, no.
Well, I think it's because she fancied Gia and she probably was like, sure, why not? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't,
Yes.
who knows, right? But I do think that scene is so incredible. Like,
Yeah, it's really.
Angelina Jolie just being like fucking like
She's just. She
totally naked and just be like,
legs. It's not fair.
yeah, I just love her confidence. Like, she's just so fucking like cool. Like, she doesn't care, you know?
Yeah, she doesn't. I think
Because
that's
can you think of any other actress that would do that? Like for a, I mean, like
probably
a big actress.
Charlize.
Who?
Charlize Theron.
Maybe,
I
I
don't know if she'd
guess.
be naked though, but I'm trying to think of someone who does like kind of like out of the box roles.
Hmm.
She does. Rose McGowan probably would. Like
Oh
old
yeah.
Rose McGowan, like 90s Rose McGowan. I don't know about now. But I feel like, yeah, Rose McGowan definitely did some like crazy films, as we've done a few of her, like she's done a Rocky film.
No, that's true. But I feel like that particular sex scene is very like,
Angelina.
yeah, totally.
Not
Like,
an American actress. I'm sure there's several outside this country that would totally do it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm talking
That
about
would
like
be great.
American.
Yeah, but like big A-list.
Like,
Like Nicole Kidman, like someone like that.
I think Nicole Kidman probably would do it. I guess.
I
I
feel
don't
like if
know.
the role was right, I feel like she probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was meant for her. But yeah, not very many. I don't think. Not very many. Not like Angelina. I mean, there's really no one like her.
Obviously, no.
Got
Yeah.
like this that vibe. Even like the young ones that are coming up now still aren't. They're not as like risk taking as she was with like her roles.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Like anyone who's in their 20s now who's doing shit that you're like, whoa, like I can't believe she's doing this so early in her career. Like doing like really intense. I can't
Yeah.
think of one, not offhand.
No, I can't. I can't really think. I'm sure there
I'm
has to
sure
be
there are.
someone.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Like, I mean, I just can't think of any. And also,
Wait, what about Jennifer Lawrence?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't like her, so
I mean, I don't like her
don't watch
either,
her
but
films. So I mean, does she do anything like really whoa?
I feel like she would do something like this. Maybe like not now because she's too big, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I'm sure there are. Hit us up if you can think of any actresses now that are very much like 20s Angelina.
Hmm.
I can't think of any, but and also Angelina looks the same as she does in this movie. Like she literally looks the fucking same.
I know
Kind of
it's
insane.
insane.
Yeah, like she literally looks the same. And then yeah, I wrote like she takes those photos with on the fence, and then no other model staying. She hooks up with Linda later, and then the next morning you wake up and they're at Gia's apartment, and she looks like, granted her hair looks a fucking mess, but she has like her makeup's all smeared around her eyes, and Linda is just like, oh god, I have to go, like, and she's like trying to leave, and she's like, I have a boyfriend, I can't be doing this, and of course Gia's like completely naked, like running out, chasing her into the hallway, and
I
she's
love
like,
that.
come on, like what's going on, you need to stay, you can't leave me, you can't leave me. The elevator comes and like people are standing there, and she's like, what are you looking at? Like, I'm trying to get this girl to stay. And she's just like, I'll cook you breakfast, I'll do whatever. And I was like, okay, Angelina's boobs are amazing, what the fuck.
She has amazing. Well, she has amazing
They look,
boobs, but yeah,
how is she modeling with boobs that big in the 80s? Like,
I
I
know.
was like,
Well, yeah,
they
she's
usually are
always.
so skinny. Like
I know
she
she's
looks
always
pretty
been
like
so slim.
average size, like normal size.
Not really, because even in like Hackers, you can tell that she has like big boobs.
Oh no, but I mean like as her playing Gia as a
Oh,
model
oh,
nowadays, that would be like curvy. Like she would be a curvy model.
oh, that is true. Yeah,
And
yeah,
now I
that's
feel
true.
like, yeah, she's just, I mean, she looks more like average size in the film, but I was like, man, the 80s, I guess, like you were saying, that the models were curvier.
Yeah, I mean the real Gia was like insane.
It was like,
Like her
yeah,
body, because
curvier.
she was like smaller frame. Like I feel like Angelina is obviously very thin and tall, but Gia had actually like she had like a tiny waist and like hips and like massive
Oh,
boobs.
oh,
Yeah, she was like smaller frame but big boobs.
Yeah, which is what everyone has now.
Which is the dream, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, which is what everyone like wants, and a big butt now. That's what people's.
I don't want that, but it would be nice to have, like, bigger.
I don't need either one, man. I don't know why people want like bigger anything. It really limits your style of dress.
That is true. That is true.
People don't think about that. I'm sure people, if you are thinking about getting any work done, just really think about how your clothing, and Jai will probably also attest to that, your clothing has to change with your body type.
Well, that's the thing.
You can't wear halters if you've got like, I mean, you can, but
if you have big boobs, you cannot wear anything fitted because you will look slutty for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. It's hard to dress them. Yes.
It's hard to not look like, it depends on where you're going and what you're going to do. But yeah, especially I see people on TV when they try on like wedding dresses and I'm like, this person is not helping you. You cannot wear a strapless. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I've resigned myself to the fact that like I can't wear strapless. I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, I can get something to push it up. No, it's not comfortable and it doesn't look the way it's intended to look. Let's put it that way. For me anyway. I'm just like, no, I just can't do it. And then we get to Jai's favorite part, Studio 54.
Yay!
Outside. We went to go see the Studio 54 documentary.
So cool.
So cool. It's on Netflix. Watch it. It's fucking so cool. I need to watch it again because I haven't seen it other than the time we saw it.
No, I know. It's pretty amazing. I tried to get Matthew to watch it, but he wasn't into it.
Really? Oh, so good.
I know it is.
Yeah, it's so good. And also the 54 drama that I made Jai watch with Ryan Philippe is also pretty good too. From like 98.
I don't think we finished it.
Yeah, we did.
With you, I don't remember.
So that's how much Jai liked it.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's really good though. It's on the list. I guess I'll add it. I don't know how like on brand it is, but if you want to see us review the 54 about disco, then like we'll do it. And then you see her start doing coke in the bathroom, and I was like, oh, the 70s or 80s.
I know, but also she was 17. I mean,
yeah, maybe 18 at this point.
Okay, 18 is pretty young still.
And then I wrote in all caps, I wrote fashion montage. And that's when you see this huge montage of like all the shoots that she does.
Oh my god, so cool.
All these cool shoots. And like I mean, I love a fashion montage. I love a 90s montage in a film anyway. I just love it.
Yeah.
So I just like, I love that fashion montage. And then what did you think of the next scene where Anna Wintour supposedly
oh my god,
cover girls for the new issue?
Yeah, that scene, I mean, I can't even explain. There's so many things that she says that are like ridiculous. She's basically like, in winter, we need meat. Like, yeah, winter is carnivorous, reds, what? Like, browns, something else. And then she's like, she sees all these photos and she's like, oh, we've seen it all before, blah, blah, blah. And then she sees Gia and she's like, she's lusty. Yeah. Like winter is carnivorous. Like, she's perfect. I'm like, oh no, she says, that's it. She says reds, browns, animal prints, big animal prints. But I love how she went from carnivorous to like, I guess it's related, you could say, like animal prints, but and reds, but it's just such a funny way to describe it, you know? Like,
I love the way they played Anna Wintour too.
I know.
I do love that, how she looks exactly the same. Like
she does. I know. It's her iconic signature hairstyle, you know, that she's had literally
her entire career, right?
Her entire career.
Is she still like head honcho at US Vogue? She stepped down, didn't she? She was like,
well, I mean, I guess it's quite hard to know really how involved she is. How
relevant is Vogue should the question?
Well, I do think she had. I mean, we all know she has a lot of power, right? And like, genuinely, her decisions do. She makes a big calls. You know, I just don't know because she is obviously older, and
now she is, right?
She was talking about yeah, she was talking about like 5 years ago, like how, like she can't be doing this forever, and like she knows that, I feel like,
Who would take over though? Like, I don't even know
well,
who.
that's the thing. This is the thing. I mean, like she is so people. It just shows how much power she has, right? That she can control like literally someone's collection, or like what people go up to her and be like, do I change anything? She has that much control to tell a designer what to do.
Does she still?
I mean, I'm pretty sure yeah, I mean, she's like, people care a lot about her opinion, even though she's obviously older. Like, she's so influential, like, but yeah, they need to think of a replacement because she can't be 80 and still do this job. She
No.
simply can't.
And everything just totally evolves. Like the fact that they have Edward Enninful at UK Vogue,
Oh yeah,
like
I
they've
mean,
they've evolved. Why don't they fucking evolve US Vogue? Like US Vogue could be so fucking cool.
so much cooler. I
Like
know.
I don't understand why they just put influencers. I mean, I get they're trying to sell magazines. I get that that's what sells magazines nowadays, but like, they just I don't understand. Like they've got so many resources now. The internet's everywhere. There's so many photographers to choose from, so many models now that aren't even repped, like
Yeah.
normal way they were before. So like I don't understand why they don't just like, you know, I know she wants to hold on to that power because once she lets it go, she's probably afraid of being like irrelevant and
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's so much her. I feel like she's obviously being given
well, yeah,
that
they're in
power. Like
charge,
I,
right?
I feel like they worry that like the magazine will crumble
That's
because
true.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, she still is connected with like everyone. Like people will do things just because Anna is there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and it has to be someone in her circle, I guess, that we know. It can't be like Joe Schmo, and we're like,
n-
who?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You need someone, and I can't think of anyone who
Like
is
Andre
like.
Leon Talley is the only one that's been with her that long, but then he wrote that.
But
Oh,
he's,
still
I
want to
know,
read that book.
and he's also like older. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like you
he's like,
can't.
yeah, he's not much.
You need like young blood, basically. Like
Yeah,
it's the only way. But I guess it's too risky for them.
yeah, that's true. It could just completely blow up. And then, yeah. Oh well. Yeah. So Anna Wintour, that was pretty good. And then we see Gia pull up in that red car, and she's like pulling up to Linda's, and she's like, "Hey, I just bought this car. We're gonna drive to Philly and see my mom." And her outfit's amazing. We talked about it. She's got
Yeah, that white shirt.
the
Yeah,
white shirt and like the belt and the Levi's. She just looks so cool. I love it. I love
yeah.
that
That
car.
that I like. I like that outfit, and obviously the car. But
Yeah, and then she brings her girlfriend home, and then she's like, "Yeah, this is my girlfriend." And her mom's like, "Oh my god, you're a big star." But she's kind of like so detached. It's so weird that she's like kind of friends with her mom again. And then she just starts like hanging out with her like after. She's just like, I guess she's like really proud, she's like, "Hey, I'm on fucking Vogue." Like,
I know. But I wonder if she hadn't been a model. I wonder if her mom had been that interested in
yeah,
her.
I don't know. And remember when she was a little kid, her mom was just like, "Yeah, with boys, it's like, they grow up, they marry other women, like you lose them, but like daughter is yours forever." She's like, a daughter and a mother, like they're always together. Like,
I know she says that, but then
but yeah, then she clearly like doesn't even help her really when she's like at her worst. Yeah, so she starts hanging out with her mom, and her mom's like living in her apartment, and she's like kind of taking care of her. Like obviously Gia's very codependent. Oh, I didn't even go into the fact that like TJ is like left. Like TJ left out. Um he I
But
mean
I
he,
mean, he always lived in Philly. Like I feel
yeah,
like
he was just like there every now and again, but he was kind of like moved in though, wasn't he?
I think he was just there a lot, like
Oh, okay.
for like weekends and on. Yeah,
And then Gia sends flowers to Linda, like yellow flowers all the time after she's hooked up with her. And then her boyfriend finds out. Her boyfriend's like, "Are you fucking a florist?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah, I am." And then later, Gia's like standing on the steps and stuff, and then she's like, she's literally like, oh yeah, this is the florist. And she's like, what the fuck? This is crazy. I was like, oh my God. And I think the guy still stays with her too, which is crazy. And
I
she
don't.
rebuffs her
Maybe. Yeah, I guess they just stay
for a little
together
bit
for a while.
longer. Yeah, like he does eventually leave, but like a little bit longer. And then Gia's so anyway, so the girl's like, Linda, she's like, no, I'm like with like this is my boyfriend kind of thing. And she's like, fuck this. Pushes him, like runs away. So she's like, she has this like obviously like this fear of abandonment and these people leaving her life is definitely like a recurring thing.
Yeah, and maybe that, and I mean that will explain why she's so um needy,
Yeah.
because she hasn't had anyone around like that. Like
Yeah,
it's
totally.
yeah.
And then her mom has been staying with her. So she's like, I stay for a week. Sometimes I stay for 2 weeks. Like she's kind of like, just really like, kind of like doing her laundry, like doing everything for her. Like she just needs someone there. And then when her mom's like, I have to go. Like I have a husband. I just can't stay here all the time. And she just completely loses it. And she like throws her mom's stuff out in the hallway. And she's just like, get out then. Fine, get out. And I'm like, her mom has already left her as a child. She's like doing it
Mm,
all over to her again. I mean, in Gia's head, she's like,
yeah.
oh my God. And then, yeah, she throws her stuff in the hallway and then she's like gets thrown into work. And you see this montage of like, she's busy, she's booked, she's doing 16 shoots this week. And I was like, oh my God, 16 shoots in 1
I
week.
know. Oh my
Like,
god.
I could not. I just literally could not handle it. And they just show her like doing cocaine, drinking champagne, like just like going to Europe, doing all these shoots in all these different countries, and like it's just so nuts. And then Winnie Cooper, Wilhelmina, or Willie, I think she calls her Willie. Gets in the hospital and she's sick. And I was like, oh
She's
my
sick.
God. I was like, oh my God, this is so not good.
That's what I mean. Like, how much bad luck can you have that literally everyone around you that cares about you, like, you know,
Yeah, it's
leaves in
taken away.
one way or another. Like,
And it was so fucked. What did you think about how she gets approached by that model agent in the hospital?
oh, yeah, I know he's awful,
It shows
but
how smarmy.
it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it just shows how complete smarmy like the industry is. Like it's yeah, it's really crazy. And then at first she's like the guy's like, "Oh, you got to sign with me cuz like she's going to die." And then she goes in the room and she's fine. She's like, "Oh no, making calls, doing everything." And she's like, "Oh my God, like oh my God, maybe she's going to be okay." And the next thing you see is the funeral.
To her
You're
funeral.
like, "Oh my God." And then I think she must go later because she doesn't come out with all the people. And you see some of those girls like taking photos on the steps.
Oh yeah,
When the
yeah.
photographer's taking photos of people leaving, and then you see her later, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, um,
And she was kind of like her mentor and friend, and
yeah,
like kind of became family almost, you know?
yeah. And then she has this insane breakdown where you see like this is one of my like mood
I
notes
I knew it.
where like
I
the
knew it.
foils in the front and like the foreground, and you just see her in the background like just tripping out, like just moving around a lot, like getting up and just being really nervous. And then she just like comes closer over and you see her like smoking when it's speed or whatever. I don't know what she's doing right now.
Oh yeah, I don't know
Speed,
what that is.
yeah,
Yeah.
something in the tinfoil. It's probably heroin, maybe. It's most likely. And I was like, oh my God. And then so that's when you kind of know like after this death is really like a turning point for Gia.
Hmm.
This is kind of when everything is just like a pretty downward spiral. And then she has probably a photo you've seen around from the film is in her in like is it Japanese
Yeah,
fired out,
yeah, I think it is. Yeah, no, it is Japanese, but I think
but the
it's
lanterns are Chinese. I'm not.
the I think the street, yeah, it's like Chinese, but she looks like a geisha. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know, like
that's right. Yeah, geisha. And she looks
yeah.
terrible. Like she just looks like she's
Oh,
hasn't
I
slept. And
know.
she's like dope sick now. And she's like and the people on the set, like the stylist and the photographer, like the makeup artist or hair or whatever he is, they're just like, she's like, I'm really sick. I need to go. And they're like, oh yeah, we've heard about you. Oh, you have this little thing in your dress. And they pull out the like glass thing. And they're like,
Hmm.
oh, it's okay. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. And like, oh no, it's cool, it helps. I was like, these fucking people. I was like, geez, no wonder.
I know.
Like, they're just like, oh no, it's fine. It helps. It's cool. And then they're like, take photos here. And they're just literally like parading her around like a circus animal. And they're just like, do this, do that. And then she's like right by this motorcycle. And then she like tells the guy, like, yo, she's like, I just need to go downtown. Will someone go downtown for me and like pick up shit? And then they just don't say anything. She jumps in the back of this motorcycle, tells the guy to drive. And then we get another montage with Echo and the Bunnymen playing in the background.
I fucking love that song so much.
Great songs too throughout this. I forgot.
It does.
First
There's
photo shoot is the
a few, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because obviously this movie came out before Donnie Darko, but that song to me is just Donnie Darko, you know?
Yeah.
Because he became, I think it's really iconic just because that film, because of the soundtrack, really.
We should speak that one too. I don't know. If Patreon ends up being a thing, people want to pay us to do shit, then that might have to be the first one in the 2000s. So I have a whole list.
Yeah, please, let's.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking to you out there. If you want to pay $5 a month, then fucking email me because that'd be great. we'll do lots more shit, and yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be super cool. But yeah, so we've got so many 90s to get through. Maybe that might happen later on if it's needed. I guess people want it. Oh God! And then she rides the motorcycle. I wrote, and she gets that dirty needle. I'm assuming this is where she contracts it because she
This
goes.
guy
Like,
gives it to her.
I don't do that. I don't do needles. I only do like the powder. And he's like, no, this is all I've got. And she's like so sick that she's like, okay, do it. And he like shoots her up. And I'm pretty sure that's probably when she contracts something.
Well, we don't know. This is the thing that's ambiguous, right? We don't know if that's the only time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Well, I guess probably not. You know.
Yeah, probably not. I guess for the sake of the film, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes to Linda's apartment in that dress, and she just looks a fucking mess. Like,
she looks awful.
So bad. She gets back with Linda, but she's like going to rehab now. And then she says like, you know, she's like, I could do this. Like, I can do this. Like, I could go and like be clean and be fine. And then she gets on methadone, and you see this like video or like a montage of her like signing in. It's outpatient, so she's got to come back herself, and she's like signing away and like taking it, living with Linda. Linda's kind of like helping out, and then her mom's there. For her mom makes things worse, guys. Like,
I think so.
Yeah, it's definitely no good at that point. And then you find out that like Gia's gone to the mom's house and like broken in and stolen like jewelry and just stolen loads of stuff to sell and pawn to get for drug money.
Oh my God.
And then she's just like she's like, I want to go back to work. Gia's like, I want to go back to work. I need to work. I need to make money. So she's like going to do a shoot, her first one back, and Linda's there, and Linda like catches her doing drugs in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. She's doing it in the bathroom. Yeah.
And then because like Wilhelmina has died, this new agent she's like taken on, that smarmy one that approached her in the hospital, and he's like, I want you to do this video interview thing, and if you do that, then I'll sign you. So she does this interview, like this actual like video interview, which is weird because she's like, I'm used to not talking, but you know, fine, you want to interview me, you want to talk about like my life and stuff or like what I do. And she's like, you know, she talks about it, and then the next thing we see is like her banging on Linda's window.
She's like all crazy.
Kicks the window in, knocks it in, and they have this like insane fight, and she just has this like, yeah, and then she's just done. She's just, it's so sad with her and Linda. Like, I don't know.
Because she literally, like, it came down to like drugs or her, and she picked drugs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I did read that. I did find that online that they did have like a really insane relationship, and it was like that. They had like big fights all the time. So like friends, people who knew her said that it was up and down between the two of them, you know. But I mean, I guess it's hard. Like if you're with someone who's like a drug addict, like to that extent, like you can't. It's too painful for for both of them, but especially for the other person, right? Because who wants to see their partner like killing themselves slowly? Like,
Yeah, and essentially, this is usually why addicts date other addicts. I mean, because it's not a relationship that is like healthy in
yeah,
general. So I feel like it'd be almost impossible to maintain a relationship. That's a siren. Yeah,
I just heard. Yeah.
it's on my end. Cool. The world's just being crazy. It's just like so crazy to think about. Just yeah, like how could you be in a relationship where one person's completely strung out and you're not? Because it's like so much of your time I would feel like would be doing drugs if you're not doing them together. Like,
Well, that's the thing, and also like if you're like, I don't know, I feel like you're looking at this person like just being this destructive. You can't. That can't be pleasant, you know. And then you're trying to help them, and then they pretend or they attempt to get better, but then they sleep, you know,
yeah,
like.
these drugs are just like too crazy and like too intense and just have a hold on you. It's really nuts. Drugs are fucked.
I know. Well, especially that one.
Yeah, I mean, Lord, it's taken how many people, like famous and otherwise, like people that we all know about, but actual people in people's lives, like real.
Well, apparently you can't. It's really rare to actually die from a heroin overdose. Like it's never really heroin. It's like a combination of drugs, or it is like something else linked to that. But it's not entirely just heroin. Like no, you can't really die from an overdose of heroin.
You can't?
No, like
It's like something else hasn't been in your system
yeah,
too that
it's like a
interact.
combination of something else. It's never really. If you think about it, because I was thinking about that like about a week ago, and I was reading about like all these people, like musicians who die from heroin overdose. But when you actually read like the whole description, they it was a combination of something else. So like they had been consuming other drugs or alcohol, and then they did heroin. But it's not just heroin alone.
Yeah, because usually if you're doing, I mean, I don't know, but if you're doing heroin, you're not clean of everything else. It's not like you're
No,
only putting
no, no.
heroin in your body
It's
and that's it.
not. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like either sleeping tablets, some kind of prescribed drug, or alcohol or other drugs.
yeah, I was
Like
gonna say alcohol is like a bad one.
oh
Like a
god,
cocktail, though, just like there's some that just kill you. Like there's just if you have alcohol with some, and I mean, and no, I mean it's all different for everyone, but I mean, it's just crazy to think that some like pills and alcohol will just straight up kill you. Like it's just crazy to think about.
yeah.
Don't do that
Anyway.
shit, people. Fuck crazy. Um,
um
Oh yeah, so then we get her comeback, her big runway comeback. She's like, "I'm back. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to like do my shit. I'm like all better now." Like this is what she's thinking. And she does that's when she does the runway that we saw in the very beginning where she's got the big like fluffy dress on and she like looks all
yeah,
cool. And then she just
and
has
then
this insane breakdown. Like while she's there, like on
well, and
backstage.
she's also shooting. She's just there, like oh, it's like I don't think it's a breakdown. I think she's just like starting to.
Is
She
she getting
actually just.
sick again?
I think she actually was shooting because her friend was like, well, not friend, but like that auto model
Oh
fan
yeah,
her, and she's picking up her little
her stuff.
yeah, like her little set, whatever it's called.
Um, yeah, and then after this happens, she's like writing to Linda, and you hear this voiceover, and she's like in an airport, and she just looks like so lost. Like she's like, I was in Paris, I'm going to Munich, doing whatever. And then when she's in Munich, she's doing the shoot, and you just hear these guys like
Oh
speaking
my
German
god.
all around her, and then she's
They
like,
don't give a fuck.
up.
They just want to get the shots.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
literally she's passed out, like probably OD, and who the fuck knows. And they just like literally shoot her in this like vinyl dress. It looks very like Dolce and Gabbana, or like it's not because it's probably before them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Not
it does look like that. But also,
German.
like, what kind of person does that? Do you really need to take photos of this model? 'Cause you don't know if she needs to be taken to a hospital.
Yeah,
Like,
is that true? Do you think that really happened?
it's really hard to know what was accurate, like, and what is being exaggerated. Though, I mean, I like to think that that didn't happen,
Yeah, I hope not.
but
crazy. So now she's in like the throes of addiction now. Like it's pretty bad. And throughout all this, like Angelina is just incredible. Like as her, like throughout her emotions and just like I believe everything that's happening to her.
Yeah,
Which
me too.
and then TJ comes back to her apartment, and when he comes in, like the door is open, like it's ajar, and he like walks in, and she's just like walking around, like pacing, like wondering about money, like talking about money, like where's my money? I need my money. Where's my money? And doesn't even like
Yeah,
recognize him,
she's so paranoid. Yeah.
and doesn't even like acknowledge him. She's not like, "Hey, TJ, oh my God, you're here." She literally is just like, "Where's my money? I had $600. Where's my money?" And she's just like taking out drawers, throwing stuff around. And she's like, "Do you have any money? Do you want to fuck me? I'll let you give me money." And he's like, "What? Like, what is? Who are you? Like, this is crazy." And you're just then eventually like he gets her to go to detox. He's like, he takes her to detox, and then the woman there, she's just like, "So, how are you going to pay for it? Do you have health insurance?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, "I don't have any money, like at all." And then they're like, "Okay, well, you have to declare yourself indigent, and then you can do it." And I was like, "Oh my God, this girl."
Yeah, so actually, this is what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not American or grew up here, how did it work back then? Like, people didn't have health insurance either in the 80s. Is that
No,
like,
it's always been a thing that you have to buy. It's never been a thing that we've had that was taken away.
but I imagine it was way worse in the 80s, right? Compared to now. Like, is it more expensive now? Or
Well,
was
see, it's
it?
hard because of inflation. Like, I mean, I don't know because you'd have to like measure the inflation, but it definitely is more expensive now, I think, because I think medical bills are just higher. I
Yeah.
think, and also the ailments that people have are just way, I don't know. Like, I don't know how. Also, I'm not sure too. This would also be a question for people who know about health providers and in terms of rehab, whether or not rehab is even covered in health insurance and what
Oh,
type
that's right. Probably.
this
Yeah.
isn't like an operation, like this is like something that's quote unquote like voluntary. So it's like, and this seems to be like a city run place, or because it has to be. If it's private, I don't think you can declare yourself indigent and still go into a private facility. Like you
Hmm.
would just be in a state run hospital or outpatient, which is I think what it is. So yeah, she's like, I have no money, like I have to be declared indigent, which is crazy because isn't her mom married to some like wealthy guy?
I don't know.
Yes.
But what about her dad? Like what?
Yeah, she
They
hasn't
think
told her dad anything. And even later when she gets sick, that she's like, I don't want my dad to know. Like they say, like, no, she doesn't want her dad to know. But he comes to
mm,
see her later. But yeah, I don't think she has a relationship with any of her parents really. I mean her mom more than her dad. I think her dad, she's just kind of like, we don't really see him.
well, I just think for me when I realized like her mom was like truly like an awful person is when like she obviously had the means to help her, but she kind of didn't. It's only right at the end where she was like, "You can come and live with me." But I mean, it took like a
Yeah, they
lot.
sent her to a hotel. Like
Pardon?
they sent her to a hotel.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
because the husband, like, didn't want her in the house because he was scared when she oh, hold on, wait, we haven't gotten there yet. So okay, so she's in group therapy, and Adina Porter, who I love, she's in American Horror Story. She's like the girl who's literally like, "What was your problem? You were on all these magazines, and you were telling us this, and oh, your life was so hard."
Oh yeah.
I love her in American Horror Story, but she's really good. But it's really
No, she kind of was like, it's so unfair. Like I kind of grew
yeah,
up thinking I wanted to be like her, and like,
she's just like as fucked up as the rest of us.
yeah, yeah, I love that.
And then I said, then like Gia's like starting to turn like her life around. Like she's boxing. You see her like boxing. She leaves voicemails on Linda's machine, like, "Hey, like I'm doing better. Like I miss you." And she writes poems and things for her. And then she gets a job at a clothing shop. And like I think the people who work with her are like, I think someone sees her on a magazine and then they like see her folding the pants and then they're like, "Oh yeah, she always says she's a model."
Oh yeah, no, I think the girl is basically saying, yeah, like she used to be a model, like, and look at her now,
Yeah,
like,
look at her now. Oh God. And then her mom, like her mom's living with her, I think, at wherever she's living now. And then she's just like, her mom's like, oh, why are you working at that place? Like, you've got to do this, you've got to got working again, like you gotta like watch your weight and do all this stuff. I was like, oh my God. Like, what the fuck? She is literally like in rehab, and then she notices like her face, and she has like
Oh
lesions on her face.
God, the skin.
It's fine. It's gonna go away. And then then she just is like, I'm dizzy, I'm burning up, and then she just like faints. And then you find out that she has pneumonia. She goes into the hospital and she has pneumonia. And then the doctors are like, yeah, but this is AIDS. Like, this is not just pneumonia. There's something
And I
else.
love that she doesn't even know what she's kind of like, okay, how do I get rid of it?
Yeah. And they don't know either. They're like, well, we're just learning.
And also how they're wearing those crazy like space suit, like
Yeah, the hazmats.
yeah, as if it was some kind of crazy like contagion, like of
Well,
some
they
kind.
didn't know. At that
I
point, I
guess
think
so,
they
yeah.
didn't know. And it was so fatal that I think that and also she was like, how did I get it? And then they were like, well, intravenous drug users are at high risk. Like,
Mm.
that's what we're finding, because they were just finding out too. And this is like, I don't know how old the listenership is listening now, but in the 80s, AIDS was a massive deal. Like, it was literally almost all they talked about. And like, it was very much like, she was actually, I think, one of the first well-known women to die of AIDS. And it was seen very much as like something within the gay community. This is like in the beginning, like early 80s. Like, this wasn't something that was seen as like something that anyone other than people who like were in these type of activities were involved in. But at this point, it was still very new to them, so they just knew that this was incredibly fatal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that there wasn't it took them a while to really understand it, right? And there was no treat. I mean, still not really cured, but there is treatment.
Yeah,
You know,
there's like
there's things they
it's like
can do to.
manageable.
Yeah, it's so sad. I mean, it definitely they take a lot of crazy, like talented people. Freddie Mercury, you know.
Yeah, because he died in 80. What?
No, he died in like 91.
Oh, 91. Oh, okay.
But I mean,
Around the same time. Like, the medicine hadn't developed to
no,
what.
but I guess it depends on like everyone is different, right? So some people have like a stronger immune system, so they that like it took them. It means that they live a bit longer, you
Yeah,
know.
then
But
some
other
people,
people die
yeah.
like I think Gia like died pretty quickly, like after she found out she had it. But also we didn't know how long she actually
Yeah, when she knew.
when she knew. We don't
Yeah.
know, like yeah.
And then one of my, like, I don't have any like I don't want to say they're favorite scenes, but like, I love when TJ's like packing her stuff from the hospital and he like completely breaks down. This
Oh,
is
I
when like I
know.
start
Oh,
crying from like here to the end of the film. Like,
so
I just literally
sad.
lost it. And then that's when he goes and talks to her mom in the hallway, and he's like, what are you gonna do? Like, where are you gonna go? Where's she gonna go? Like, are you gonna take her? And she's like, well, I can't bring her in the house because, he's scared. People are scared. We're all scared. And he's just like, she's your daughter.
She's your daughter.
Are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding me? And then she's like, well, my husband will pay for a hotel. We'll move her into a hotel. I was like, and I wrote like, a hotel, question mark, question mark. What the
I
fuck?
know. Yeah, what the fuck?
Can you imagine? And then she's just like, I was like, send her to a hotel. I was like, oh my God. So you see like TJ's like helping her move into the hotel, and then she goes and sees Linda for the last time, and like, this is when I lose it. Because she doesn't tell Linda that she's sick, and Linda's just like kind of like wondering why she's very like, just like her conversation is very final. It's like, here are these journals, like she's kind of making these loose plans about the future, but she just seems really sad.
Yeah,
And you just can tell like like, it's just, that part really gets me.
I know. I mean, did you cry?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't cry this time, but because I actually seen the movie quite a few times. Like, um,
Sad, and like, oh God. Also, I mean, another note, her outfit is amazing here. That camel coat, and she has that
oh yeah,
bob.
that is pretty cool. Yeah,
That
she looks
bob.
amazing with
Yeah,
that bob.
it's really
Yeah,
cool. Very 80s. And she has those
That
like
was
wide.
probably one of my favorites, just because I'm simply obsessed with a bob, you know.
Yeah, her hair did look really cool. And then in the end, and then she goes to see Linda, and like Linda tries to kiss her, and she like backs away and like leaves out the door. I was like, oh God. I was like, so sad. And then
I know.
she
And she
goes to,
wants to like rent a house and like
yeah,
for the
she like they
summer.
make all these plans, and like it just seems like Linda's like, I want to try again. Like I want to be all in. Like it's fine, you know. And she's just like, yeah, maybe I gotta go. Like I can't stay. I gotta go. And then yeah, when they leave, that's the last time she sees her. And then Gia, of course, like she goes to try to score downtown. Oh my God. And then she gets fucking raped and beaten. Like
Oh my
I
god.
can't. Like apparently
That
that
oh
happened. What I read was
I
they
know, I
found
read
her in
that.
the hospital and she actually was like prostituting more towards the end of her life in
Oh
like Atlantic City. And
god.
actually it's a bit worse than what they actually showed us, which is, I mean, God.
I know, you just think I mean, I wonder if I mean obviously she became like totally hooked on drugs, but I wonder if her uh, like her troubled life and like just how she was like totally like she suffered a lot because she felt like she didn't really have anyone around. I wonder if it had to do as well with the fact that she was gay, and like it was kind of hard maybe to
Yeah,
kind of
that seems like it would be a theme.
right because I mean it is hard for anyone, let alone back in those days, like it's you're conflicted. You have like conflicted emotions all the time, and also you're really young.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
it's not
26.
easy. I think she just had. It's just really unlucky that she became so successful. She was so beautiful, and she had all this money, access to things, fame, but she was also really young and immature. What do you do with that
Yeah,
when you're? We've seen like as it's been proved by many
many
famous
young people.
young actors, and they just ruined their lives because you had to be kind of mature to not lose control or
And
like
have an
go off
insane,
the rails.
yeah, and have also you need to have like an insane, not insane, but like an amazing support system.
Yeah,
That's,
like a mentor, like friends, family,
yeah,
whatever.
like when you don't have that, or your parents are the complete opposite of that, and they're the closest people to you. That's kind of what tends to happen. I mean, it's almost like it's predictable. Like you wonder if someone is not like that, how well adjusted they are. Like how can they be so well adjusted when they have so much craziness going around them? But
Yeah, exactly.
it's really sad. Um yeah, so then she goes into the hospital again for the last time, and then she's just insanely sick and she dies there in the hospital. And her dad finally does see her, and I love the last scene where she's like waking up out of the
Oh,
bed.
I know. Me too. I have to say they did a pretty cool job there.
Yeah, and
Because
she looks all like she did in the photos and stuff. I was like,
yeah, and also you don't want them to at least. I don't know. I guess it's quite nice to end the movie like that with like some sort of like beautiful scene, like poetry and like her kind of going to. Not that she goes to heaven, but it is kind of like a light ending, you
yeah,
know?
it's like all white, like the room's all white and
Yeah,
everything. It's really
exactly.
cool.
Very dreamy.
Yeah, and that's how the film ends. So, gosh. Well, do you have any notes on like what's your theme and the vibe of the film? Like, I know you're gonna have fashion notes.
Yeah, it's. I have to say, like, I find like the 80s fashion, I love, but there was a lot in this film, a lot of it was like frumpy, the frumpy side of like the 80s I don't like. Like that big dress, like all like I absolutely love 80s, but some of the stuff that they show here, I was like, oh no, it's not really not a fan of. And like the bad wigs on everyone, and like that photographer, I kind of really hated it here. Um, I just felt like they could have done a better job. But obviously, it's really cool to see New York um, in that time, and like you kind of get a glimpse of like Studio 54 and like those incredible studios. Like what are they called? Like
Like lofts.
yeah, just like abandoned sort of warehouses
Mhm.
or lofts or whatever. Like I love that. It's super cool. And I love some of the shoots actually they do. I think
Yeah,
even
I
though
have some that I like here.
she was a complete mess, but when she's like dressed as a geisha, it's a cool. Well, also how funny, right? Because that is something that you could never do again.
I
Like you just
know.
can't. That would be seen as like
Cultural
totally
appropriation. Yeah.
like try to make a like a white girl look Asian
Yeah.
or
When there are
eh,
tons of Asian models.
well yeah I know but back then there wasn't
Yeah. Or
but
there
yeah
were, but they just didn't that just wasn't on their mind, I guess. They weren't gonna get someone from Japan.
yeah exactly but I do like the mood and I like the vibe. It's just that I don't really love all the fashion. Like some of it's cool. Like I like the white shirt with the Levi's.
Yeah, that was on one of my favorites. My favorite as far as okay, the theme and the mood for me, I love the vibe of New York City. That's kind of what I have. I like how some of it is shot too. Like just that scene with like the tinfoil in the foreground when she's like
Yeah, no, that's
there's
cool.
certain scenes that I think are pretty cool. I like when she like breaks the window. Um I just like the sound of breaking
You like
glass.
the way she breaks the window.
Yeah, I do. I like how she was banging on it and they did these quick cuts where she would bang and then it would stop and edit and then she was like banging on another part of the window. Like it kept
Yeah,
going
no, it was
around.
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. The music I think is cool. The first photo shoot, I love it. They're playing the Pretenders, like Brass and Pocket.
I love that
So
song.
great. And then Let's Dance by David Bowie.
Yeah, there are literally three really amazing songs, and
Mhm.
the other one is
Echo and the
um
Bunnymen.
yeah, that's it. Those three.
And then Billy Idol's Dancing with Myself, I think
Oh
is
yeah,
really cool.
really. I totally
Yeah, those
forgot.
are the four that I have. The everything else, which I really love, the score and like the sax.
Yeah, but the rest was kind of different, like instrumental, like jazzy, or like yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It was cool. For my fashion notes, I love Gia at the diner when she has that pink hair and she just looks super cool. And I love her go-see outfits where she just has like the plain white shirt on. And
Yeah, and her hair is kind of looking better
yeah, her
there.
hair looks a
Yeah.
little bit better there. I love the photo shoot that she does in black and white where she's like coming down the stairs and she has
Oh
like a
yeah, that
white
is
like
cool.
silk dress and her hair looks like she has a short bang, but it's just swooped off to the side. It looks very contemporary. Like it looks
It
like it could be
does.
shot now. It's really
It could
cool.
be now. Yeah. Totally.
I like when she has the leather jacket, and it's like that cropped leather jacket and the
Yeah.
jeans shirt in the hallway when she's like talking in the hallway, and she has that bob, I think. I love the outfit she wears when she visits Wilhelmina in the hospital. Those leather boots that like are knee high, but they're
Yeah,
like
that was cool actually. I forgot about that outfit.
or the coat's cool. It's like a cashmere coat, I think. It's like gray.
Oh yeah, I it's it was camel like kind of color.
And then she has the mock turtleneck, like the brown mock turtleneck on.
You know, she looked
Yeah,
amazing
she
there.
looks super cool. And then I just have like, yeah, and then shirts and jeans, like the car outfit was cool. And then when she sees Linda that last time with that camel coat, like, oh, she just looks so cool.
She looks so cool with that
Yeah,
hair.
it's
Yeah.
such a great
I
outfit.
don't think we've seen Angelina with a bob in other films. Have we?
No,
I
not
don't
that I'm
think so.
aware of. She either has like really short hair or really long hair.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
it's
like
true.
she looks good though.
No, she looks great.
She
I mean,
looks
she
good in that
has
bob.
an incredible
Yeah,
face, like
pull anything off.
natural pouty lips, and but you know they really fucked up with her eyes because the real Gia had brown eyes.
Oh yeah, and she has like such like
She
blue.
has like
That's
blue.
really
Why did they not give her contact lenses?
I don't know. Well, I think that her eyes really make Angelina. I feel like that she acts a lot through her eyes. If
Well, I know, but
and her eyes just get more piercing. They look really light when she's really fucked up. Her eyes are like even lighter. I think you
mm,
can tell that she looks more strung out.
yeah, no, that's
Maybe
true.
that's why they did that. I don't even know if they even had color contacts in '98 that were like good enough that you could wear for a movie. Did they? I
They
don't
must have.
I mean, I know they had them, but I know they were like I know
I
someone
don't
in my
know.
class
Good
had
question. We
contacts.
should look it up.
Yeah, they were like really uncomfortable contacts when they first came out. They were just like you could either get hard ones or soft ones, and like the hard ones were the ones that were like so bad.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I
Yeah,
used to
so
wear contact lenses.
God, you did?
Yep, I went through my phase when like
What do you mean, like different colors?
color ones. Yeah,
Oh, I've never worn colored ones.
it was like these crazy. I don't know whether that happened in the US, but in '99 and like 2000, they were so on trend. Like everyone wanted them, and all my friends and I had them. I had like green ones.
Oh wow, I've never even put them on.
I wore
Apparently,
them for like 3 years.
what? Oh wow.
I had lilac, I had green, I had like hazel. Yeah,
Oh
it's crazy.
wow. Do they look really fake or do they look real?
No, people used to think they were my own until I wore the lilac. Then they were like,
Oh.
no.
Oh wow. Okay, this one I see that the first ones in 98 were the first silicone hydrogel contact lenses that had color. Those with and
Oh,
those with
okay.
perfect vision could buy contacts for cosmetic reasons. But people who I don't know how you'd get them if you need contacts. Like I need contacts, so they'd have to make like prescription colored ones. So I guess I was like, I can't get those, so
Oh, that's quite
I
hard.
never even
Yeah.
thought about it. Or I didn't know anyone who had them. Okay, so what are some of your favorite scenes?
Okay, favorite scenes. Let's see. When she meets TJ, I
Yeah, that's
really like that. It's pretty cool how she's just so like forward and right. That's one of your favorites too, right?
yeah. Mhm. I love him.
What's yours?
Another one of mine is when Gia carves her name into that desk.
Yeah, that's mine too. That's my second one.
I love it. That's such a great fuck you. And I'm like, God, I wish I could have done that.
I know. I just love how she says at the end, "Honey."
I know. It's so good.
She can't remember that, honey. Yeah, and my last one is when she goes to that first casting and she looks like a tramp, and that lady gives her money. I think
Oh
it's really
yeah,
funny.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like this is not. It's not in my favorite scenes because it can't be because it's sad. But when she gets on that motorbike, I like the bit when they're driving on the
Oh, with Echo the
bridge.
Bunny Man.
It's so beautiful, but
Yeah,
obviously it's
it's
kind of
sad.
sad. Yeah.
It definitely is sad. I think
Do you have any
also
more?
I also find another like it would be under my other favorite scene was just every fashion shoot montage. I just love a fashion shoot montage. I think that's just so cool. But one of my worst scenes slash it has to do with what you were talking about is like the shoot in Munich. I wish they didn't shoot her fucking passed out because that vinyl dress was dope and the
No, that's
background
my
was
favorite
so
outfit. That's
dope.
literally my favorite
Yeah,
outfit.
I mean
Like
she
that,
looked great if she was fucking conscious.
I
Like
know.
she
Yeah.
would have been so cool. It sucks that that wasn't like a proper shoot. That was
Mhm.
like a shoot that she was like incapacitated on. And then all my other worst scenes were like everything in the hospital was just like oh I
I have four war scenes. I mean, there's so many, but I think for me, like the first one that's like truly shocking is when she's shooting on her hand in
oh
that the same spot that's all bloody and infected.
that's yeah.
It's so hard to watch. You're like, oh, like why?
It's
You
like
know,
Requiem
like
for a Dream. Have you seen that?
oh yeah,
Oh,
I've seen that film. Yeah, I like that film,
I
but
did
it's
too. Yeah.
too much.
Sweet Jesus, yeah. Yeah,
Do you
what
have like four?
no, I don't say yours. I already said mine. Mine were just like that, the hospital.
Yeah, just like you kind of mentioned it before, like getting beat up and like
Yeah, everything
raped.
violent.
Her interview on TV because it was just such a she was at her lowest point and she's trying to make a comeback, but she seems so out of it. You should watch the original interview.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm gonna watch that. I guess I probably
Yeah,
should.
it is exactly as it is played by Angelina Jolie. Like
Oh,
it's just sad. She just looks like she's just not there. You know, it's
sad.
I know. And yeah, when she lives on that motorbike and
Yeah, it was the
the house.
cinematography there was great. Like the
Yeah,
sky was like that
that was
peach
beautiful.
color.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, and the bike was white, which I thought was pretty cool.
Do you have
Um,
favorite lines?
yeah, I have a few.
Cool.
My first one is I should have been a rock star, but I can't sing.
I love that. I used to say that, and I guess subconsciously I got it from this film. But I used to say that a lot in like early 2000s. I used to say
Oh no
like,
way.
I want to be a rock star, but I can't sing. But I'll be like a great front woman.
Why
I used to. Obviously, I don't think that way anymore. But
not?
you know,
I'd be a great front woman. That'd be fucking cool.
Well, I mean, I had the energy, I guess, and the style.
Yeah, totally.
No, I had anyway. Okay, mine is that one. Like when when she says, "In winter we need meat.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what
Winter is carnivorous."
I don't know what I was gonna. I don't know if I was gonna name the episode something that Gia said or something that someone said about her. I still don't know yet. So I'm trying to.
Yeah, I think something that Gia said,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
what I'm
can't.
thinking, but I don't. I don't know.
What's your next one?
My next one is when she says the thing to remember is it's not about you. Like it
Yeah,
never is, and that's the thing about modeling. It's just it's tough, man. I mean, it's a really tough situation. I feel like it maybe has gotten better because I think girls now have way more ownership over their careers when they didn't in the past. But
mm,
still, it depends. I mean, it all depends. But I feel like there's a non-traditional way you can go now than before there
yeah,
was. So
totally.
like, at least there it seems to be a little bit better, but not all the way. I mean, the high fashion world is still the high fashion world, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there are some things that I'm not really entirely sure they will go away, to be honest, because even like 3 years ago, just before I left London, I moved here from London. I had a friend who very similar, obviously not as crazy as she is life, but she got into modeling really young. She's Italian, and this was in Milan, of course, you know. And again, like there was a lot of coke, a lot of drugs, because they were doing these crazy like shoots and like long hours and shows, and there's the only way you could last was if you were high, you know, because
Yeah, you're working like 18 hours a
how do
day.
you stay up exactly? And so she started doing that like at 14, 15. And so by 17 she was totally hooked on several drugs, and it totally fucked her up. Like she had like crazy anxiety. She used to shake, you know, get like have these episodes, and like to the point that she couldn't even work. She had to work from home. All the stuff that she was doing was like, oh, also she had an eating disorder because she was very slim. But as I've told you many times, Italians are genuinely the worst for that. Like Italian like fashion
Really small.
houses, yeah. So they say that she had to lose weight. So she basically didn't eat. She was just doing drugs,
Oh,
and so all of that, and that wasn't that long ago. You know, that must have happened to her like 7 years ago. You
oh
know,
wow.
so yeah, it's sad. That's what I wonder. Like, and you can tell. I'm sorry, but like people like the Hadid sisters, they all of those models. When you're like that famous and you working like crazy like that,
Oh,
you had to be on something to be able to last. You know, like.
you're just working all the time. I can't believe she's pregnant now.
I know. She probably needed a break.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least now she's got enough money that she literally doesn't have to work, and like she can be like, no, I'm spending time with my kid.
I wonder who's the highest paid model. I wonder if it's her
No,
or Giselle, because it has to be the
it's
Hadid
Kendall
sisters
Jenner.
or
I'm gonna.
Kendall
I said,
or Giselle.
let's say highest paying paid model. Um, what? Oh, I need a real website. Okay, Forbes. Let's do it. It's like
I need a real
I was like, I'm
website.
not taking this other one's website. Like, this is crazy. Okay, according to Forbes, I think it's Giselle.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Giselle
I
was
mean that.
oh, this is 2014. So
Oh
now
no, okay, it's not her. I know she was for a very long time the highest paid model,
she
but
has that, she has that, isn't it like Javiana's? Doesn't she have that sandal line, those flip
she,
flops? And
yeah, yeah.
that's like where a lot of her money comes from.
Yeah, no, that's true, but it's got to be Gigi or Bella or Kendall, I
There's one
think.
website that says that like Kendall's number one, number two is Carly Kloss, three Chrissy Teigen. But see, a lot of
Oh,
them
Carly
do other
Kloss, yeah,
stuff.
Carly.
A lot of them do other things. They're not just getting paid to model. Like Carly
Mm,
Kloss is like a host, like a TV host. you know? So like,
But surely that's based on just modeling, though.
I guess, right? I mean,
The highest, like, yeah, it has to be because I
it's
guess
probably Kendall or Gigi or one of those people. Oh, good news in that front is they're finally stopping the Kardashians.
I
TB,
I I saw that just before we did the
thankfully.
podcast. I saw that on Instagram.
Oh, any other quotes do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I like this one. Have you had sex with a man? Yeah, I could have done that with a German Shepherd. And I love the poem at the end.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was gonna
It's
name
really,
part of that
really
for
cool.
the episode.
Yeah, that
That
would
would
be
be too
cool.
long, yeah. My last quote that I have is being somebody doesn't make anyone anybody anyway.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that so
that
much.
one's pretty good.
That's really cool.
My most 90s moment, the only thing I have was photography, film, and all those print mags.
Yeah, no, that is true. That's cool.
Oh, it's
I
not
mean,
even
I guess.
90s. Just kidding. That's supposed to be the 80s. So
Oh yeah,
it was
I guess.
80s.
I guess 80s moments. Those right.
Landlines, nobody, voicemail.
Oh
It's
yeah,
all technology
voicemail.
for like everything. And also there's amazing fucking apartments.
Well, that's mine. Mine is like New York lofts as living and working spaces because they were simply more affordable in the 80s, you
Yeah,
know.
but New York was a
So
shittier place.
all these artists had lived in those. And club bouncers choosing who went in their clubs by standing outside, picking people from the crowd.
What happened?
Does it?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Are you kidding?
We're in the US?
Everywhere. I'm
No.
sure it happens.
No,
Nowhere.
that
Nowhere.
doesn't happen in the UK. That's not the
Go to Los
system.
Angeles, Jack. Go
It
to Los
happens in
Angeles.
Paris. It fucking happens in Paris, which I hate. I mean,
It happens in New York and in LA for sure.
I'm sure,
Yeah,
but
it happens
it
in New
doesn't
York.
happen in London. You can get in.
Anywhere?
Well, some clubs are obviously private members only. A lot of private
Oh, okay,
members.
yeah, like celebrity shit. Yeah.
But, no, you can get in pretty bougie, exclusive
Oh wow, okay.
clubs. Yeah,
Score
they
one
don't
for
pick
London
you.
then. I feel like shit here.
Yeah.
If you don't know anyone, you're like not getting in. Or if you don't look, I guess, a certain way.
Hmm.
Or like
Well,
have
that's
a bunch of
it,
girls
right?
with you. Like have a whole like group of girls.
Oh, that as well.
Like 10
Yeah.
girls, and I'm like, okay, I'll get you in. I've definitely snuck in with a group of girls not being all dressed up. I've been like the less grungy, glammy one, and like everyone around me is wearing like bandage dresses, and I'm like sneaking in with this group of like girls that I didn't know. Not my friends. Not at all. My friend was like, how'd you get in here wearing those Doc Martens? I was like, I fucking walked behind a group of girls.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's
The one
crazy.
time in New York, and they're like, how'd you get in here? I was like, I know I probably shouldn't be in here. I'm probably gonna get thrown out, but let's just get a drink and then go. That's kind of funny. Yeah, that's all I have. Hope you guys enjoyed this incredibly tragic, sad film, but it's incredible if you haven't seen it.
It
It's
is
great.
definitely good to watch it.
And
And just for Angelina's performance alone, you know, like
totally. And I just now found Gia Carangi has like an archive of photos on Instagram, and it's gia.carangi. It's
oh,
great.
cool.
Yeah, it's great. There are a lot of really great photos of her on here. It's incredible. Like a lot of her photos. They look so current.
Yeah, she was just really beautiful.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
I love her vibe. It's very like androgynous, and she had these really cool eyebrows as well, like thick. You know,
It's really cool.
very cool.
Super cool, man. We always lose the good ones. I swear. Well, this has been another sad, depressing episode, but about another great film. We will be back with something a little bit more exciting in the next episode. I think
Something more like
you're gonna know it. You're gonna love it. And should we just say now? But then
yeah,
we're
sure.
gonna get Fight Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have said the first rule is we can't talk about the next film that we're gonna do.
No, you can't. You have to. You have to tell.
Yeah, you have to tell
people,
everybody it's fucking Fight Club. Get excited. Yeah, we're back. We're back with new episodes. We're excited. Leave a 5-star review on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, share it with your friends, Spotify. It's fucking everywhere. I put it everywhere. Stitcher, whatever. Tune in. Fucking Amazon's got shit coming out. Send it there. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's
Wow.
everywhere. Just tell all your friends and yeah, we will see you on the next one.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.
Bye.